Help you, sir, or just looking?
Here to see Tony Calvino.
Yeah, and who are you?
Mike Sullivan.
There are many stories about Michael Sullivan. Some say he was a decent man. Some say there was no good in him at all.
This man is not a superhero. He's a very, very proficient killer. A man who doesn't want his son to find out.
I once spent 6 weeks on the road with him in the winter of 1931. This is our story.
From the Academy Award-winning director of American Beauty, Sam Mendes.
You're often, as a filmmaker, looking for some kind of mythic story or a story that holds a mythic weight.
Comes an epic tale of a father and son transformed by tragedy.
Get out!
What? What's going on?
Get out!
Road to Perdition, you have a feeling that that's not, say, the road to utopia or the road to Bali. You don't want to live this way.
What's Papa's job? He goes on missions for Mr. Rooney. They're very dangerous. That's why he brings his gun.
A man of honor always pays his debts and keeps his word.
Based on the original graphic novel by Max Allan Collins and Richard Piers Rayner, Road to Perdition brings together Hollywood's brightest young talent with Oscar-winning legends in front of and behind the camera, including two-time Academy Award winner Tom Hanks, Oscar-winning screen legend Paul Newman, Oscar nominee Jude Law, and the father and son producing team of Richard and Dean Zanuck.
I had the graphic novel sitting on my desk. I was on the verge of handing it to my assistant to read. I was about halfway out the door when I started flipping through it, and I loved it immediately.
It's a very simple piece to read, and immediately I was attracted to it. Sam Mendes, who hasn't made a picture since he won the Academy Award, went for it right away.
When I read it, that was my first response. This is a film. It's meant to be a film. It speaks in images, not in dialogue. It's the story of a hitman for a small-town mob, an Irish mob, set in the last mythic American landscape, the 1930s, when there was still space in which to completely lose yourself in the vastness of America.
Everybody come in. Hey, Mark.
I'd never seen anything like this on the current horizon. Here's a movie that should be predictable and is utterly unpredictable.
I was looking for a part like this, a character part, and a part that was as far away from anything else I'd ever done as possible, and this was kind of it.
Hey, camera rolling, Mark?
Well, they sent me a script. It was a marvelous part. It was of a size that is appropriate for a gentleman of my age.
Every card that seemed to be played on this just got better and better.
Okay.
I had no idea how to open the gas.
It's amazing. You know, you go up and you see Tom Hanks and he's talking to you and you're like, oh yeah, wait, that's Tom Hanks. And that's Paul, that's Jude Law. It's just amazing.
I was thrilled. What's exciting to me about all of these people is they're all cast against type. They're all playing very, very dark figures, very mysterious figures who reveal themselves to be not what they seem.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be able to be in a movie like this. I looked at it and I said, well, geez, I felt as though that, I know exactly what to do here. And that was surprising. It was shocking.
There's one thing better than having a great actor, and that's a great actor who's never really done what this part is asking him to do before. And furthermore, he's keen that he tries.
It's a beat. That just gives you the breath.
The amount that is unspoken that Tom can carry with him as an actor is extraordinary.
Tom is so amazing to work with. You know, he works such incredibly hard, long hours on every day.
Okay, guys, that makes us ready. Quiet, please.
Peter, I can't come to your concert tonight. I'm working. The reality is these kids just don't know what their dad does for a living.
Working at what? Putting food on your plate, young man. She doesn't ask too much about his work. He just didn't then. She accepts it. She loves him very much. She's seen her husband come home enough times with blood on his shirt to know that there's stuff going down.
You're a good lad.
He loves his dad dearly, and he wants to get close to him, but there's always that thing. His dad compliments his brother, looks at him, stares at him, but he doesn't say anything.
One of the most interesting thematic strands of the film is the relationship between father and sons.
Who's got a hug for a lonely old man?
The head of the family, played by Paul Newman, is a kind of adoptive parent to him.
Okay, guys, that makes us ready. Quiet, please.
64 Apple, take 5.
Paul Newman was an idea that we all had.
It's a natural law. Sons are put on this earth to trouble their fathers. He's a good bad guy, lovable killer.
Paul, of course, is an incredible person to have on a set.
Well, back to work.
He's always working at it. He comes in having spent hours in his trailer thinking about tiny little pivotal moments, which really is amazing. Having been through the career he's been through, to care that much about it and to not leave anything to chance or think, oh no, I've done it for 50 years, I can just wing it. You know, he never thinks that. And that's inspiring, I think, to everyone.
Paul, come back the other way a little bit. Just
Paul never changes. He works very hard. We did Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and then The Sting and then The Verdict. It looks like it's easy, but he gives a lot of thought and a lot of training and preparation for everything that he does.
He's extraordinary, still like full of beans and energy and inspiration to be better and get better, and I mean, he's already a legend.
Let's drink to Danny's honor and hope that he gets to heaven at least an hour before the devil finds out he's dead.
I'm playing Paul Newman's son. I'm sort of Tom's half-brother. I'm a pretty nasty piece of work, I suppose. He's got a big chip on his shoulder. I think he sort of almost plays second fiddle to Tom's character, Mike, because Mike is sort of the favorite son, even though he's not the real son. So there's a lot churned up inside him, and I think this fuels what he does.
Curiosity takes me to a big place. I hop in the back of his car during one of his jobs.
I think you're so smart. You think we don't know? I mean, you've been
Just looking under the door, has no clue what's going on. All of a sudden, 3 guys die in 5 seconds right in front of his face.
What was that? We're out of here. Jesus Christ, Connor, what the hell are you thinking?
Jesus.
He's really a wonderful discovery. Tyler reminds me of a young Tyrone Power. He's just remarkable.
What is your sport?
My real sport? Baseball.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
What position?
Shortstop.
The moment he walked in the room, he was clear that he just has something special. I defy anyone not to notice it the moment he walks on screen as well. He also has the air of an old man at times, a great wisdom in the eyes that belies his years.
You saw everything?
That's the moment when it all unravels. It ends up being the trigger for the, the tragedy that strikes down at the heart of the family.
Can he keep a secret?
He's my son.
As far as he's concerned, that's the trigger he needed. And then once it gets going, he has to follow it through completely, and he can't just take out Sullivan.
He is the person who sets the story in motion. He is the person that sets Sullivan off on his journey.
It's the worst possible nightmare. Thinking that a witness was being removed from the scene. Turns out instead to be the mother and the youngest child of the Sullivan household. Younger Michael thinks it's his fault, and the older Michael knows that it's his fault. I mean, it's one of these great things where where everybody's right and everybody's wrong at the same time.
Tomorrow when they find out we're gone, they're gonna come after us. I have to protect you now.
Now we are the only two left, and we have to kind of come together in order to make it work out.
Out of the bad comes good. Out of the tragedy comes some kind of understanding, some kind of epiphany.
Where are we going?
To Chicago.
Here we go. Pictures up. And background action. And action.
To recreate the mythic qualities of the Midwest during the Depression, the filmmakers brought together an Academy Award-winning team that included editor Jill Bilcock, music composer Thomas Newman, production designer Dennis Gassner.
We have to erode this home so that it has a quality of disrepair, once a prosperous world, but now gone in the Depression.
Special effects coordinator Alan L. Hall.
Okay, that looks pretty good.
Costume designer Albert Wolski.
And action.
As you can see, it's wonderful effects.
And director of photography Conrad L. Hall.
Pull out just a bit soft. There. Picture is up.
It's very simple to put a team like we have, a great team, together when you have a wonderful piece of material.
Nobody said no to us. It's really unbelievable.
They brought them back from the 30s.
I think I'm the only one here without an Oscar.
We did an exploratory recce before we decided to shoot in Chicago. Dennis Gassner had gone out there and he basically said, look, I think the stuff is still here.
Wonderful, isn't it?
We've had a great time in sourcing the city of Chicago, which has been a wealth of great imagery for us. East Dundee, little small town look.
There are these great old streets of old hotels, warehouses, industrial areas that are now closed down that still exist. Amazing things that are still there. It's fantastically mythic in its presence.
You do get that kind of like, did Sam somehow send a camera crew back in time in order to capture some of this?
You feel the vastness of the country. You feel the beginnings of the height of the industrial power of the Midwest. And I was very, it sounds corny, but I was moved by it. I went there and I was amazed by it.
We were going to stay in Chicago. We wanted to be able to have complete flexibility, so we needed a stage.
The second floor and the first floor of the Sullivan House.
The state, the Film Commission, helped us clear out the armory, and we built the interior of the Sullivan House and the interior of the Rooney Mansion there.
Wow. The first time I've seen a lot of the things here in place, but this is really nice. I've done a lot of period films, and this one seems to be the fusion of all of the things that I've done.
I play Frank Nitti, who was the right-hand man of Al Capone. I suppose he is sort of orchestrating things behind the scenes and has to figure out exactly what to do.
Where's my father?
Listen, Sonny, the only reason you're still alive is because you're John Rooney's son.
You're being a little short-sighted here, Frank. My father is an old man. I am the future. So don't you ever talk to me that way again.
And there's the guy whose job it is to stop Michael Sullivan. That's McGuire, the reporter, is played by Jude Law.
Excuse me, ma'am. Press.
If you were to ask him what he did, he'd probably tell you he's a photographer. He's a crime scene photographer who specializes in capturing dead bodies in the place of murder.
In Jude, I've always felt there's something very sinister, difficult to pin down, very vain, with a very kind of visible feminine side, very flirtatious, dark, sexy, odd, unknowable. And that's what led me into pushing him as far as I have in much further in that same direction with this character, who really is a very strange man indeed.
Sullivan and his son Michael poses a threat to not only the Rooney legacy, but also the Capone legacy in and around Chicago. So they have to hire someone who's a specialist at tracking people.
It gets narrower and narrower as it goes along, and tighter as a story.
So what are you gonna do?
Something I can't do alone.
Alright, guys, reflections, everybody tuck in.
Victory 229 Apple, take 2.
Ready?
I'm ready.
I'm making a withdrawal. I want dirty money only. Everything you're holding for Capone.
How much did they take? How much?
2 trains set on the tracks towards each other at high speed.
McGuire, do what you have to. Find them.
And one of them is going to have to come off. One of them is going to have to die. And that affected the way that we shot it, the way that we designed it, the way we conceived it.
Room squad, thank you guys. Let's give it a sweep and then we'll go again. Can you go up and put a flag there or some duvetine?
Acclaimed director of photography Conrad L. Hall was essential in bringing Sam's vision of the film to the screen.
Great. No, next one to your right again. That's good. Thank you very much.
For over 40 years, the 9-time Oscar nominee has delighted audiences with unforgettable cinematic moments.
Turn it to your right.
Winning Academy Awards for his work on Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and his first film with director Sam Mendes,
I would say if we started here.
American Beauty.
I had a love affair with Sam on American Beauty. He's such a great director. And when he was going to do another film, said, I'm with you.
The fact that I ended up working with a 74-year-old hippie from Tahiti who had shot Cool Hand Luke, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, I kind of relished every day that I had with him because, I think he's a master, and I think that cinematographers like that come along 2 or 3 a generation.
More. There, I like it dark. I'm having a good time, but I'm tired. Long hours. He has a strong hand on how he sees things.
That's it, don't move it.
Not only photographically, but like every aspect of filmmaking, he's in total control.
The union of him and Conrad is already so well established that you can always sense they're already speaking some language that only they understand.
I feel immensely grateful to him. I mean, I can't really even describe how attached I've become to him.
Anytime Sam Mendes wants me to shoot a film for him, I'll be there. He is such a great director. He is so much a veteran. Basically, it's Orson alive.
When Conrad puts his eye to the eyepiece, everything goes quiet in his own head, and he is absolutely focused.
I'd walk onto the set, and rather than seeing a bunch of lights and cables, I could only see the illuminated set as he wanted it to be. It was truly like going to a museum and seeing paintings. It's like one of the Dutch masters has lit this thing.
He can drive you mad, spending way longer than you ever expect him to setting up one shot. But when you're in the cutting room, when you're in the screening room, when you fought for those extra days, when you sit down and you look at the movie again, you thank God that he was there. There is a seasonal shift in the film. There's a color shift in the film. Everything is in some way linked into telling that story. The way people dress, wear clothes, everything is designed to tell the story of the gradual humanizing of the central character.
Once we find the architecture, then the tonality of the film starts to evolve. A cold world coming into springtime as we go on the road.
Look out for the tractor coming up now. Watch out for the tractor. Watch out for the tractor! Watch out for the tractor!
We made it.
Oh, yeah, we made it.
It's almost impossible in cheerful Technicolor to show the Depression. There was color in those days, but there wasn't also. It's winter, it's cold, so the only thing I can do is pull back as much color as I can. I guess my inspiration was a black and white movie. It would have been a wonderful film to shoot in black and white. I'm trying to make it monochromatic as I can, keep it that way.
There was an enormous amount of making weather. We've had paper snow, foam snow, marble snow, ice, real snow, powder, foam, God knows what.
The attention to detail has been incredible. We've done football fields, literally many, many football fields worth of artificial snow.
Winter in the Midwest it's a pretty bleak time. We were out shooting in the woods, and It was winter and it was cold, and man, everything was dead. It was just dead. There was no leaf. I mean, even the ground looked dead.
99.9% of everything you see, we put down. Everything was just so realistic. It was just so nice.
There is a lot of pressure, but there was more pressure on my first movie because I didn't know whether I could make a movie or not. But that's a good sort of pressure, and I've never shirked pressure. I like it. I find it brings out the best of me. Okay, moving around, get your hand on the bottom, that's nice. There, having a good look.
He is such a perfectionist, and he's on top of his game, and he's so prepared.
Movie making, on the whole, made in the head anyway before you start. Storyboard, designs, everything is discussed in detail before you start, and you need to know how you're going to at least try and tell the story before you begin. I'm just going to make a slight adjustment. Full head, about 6 inches.
He knows what he's doing. A lot of directors can give you instructions, but if you're in trouble, very few of them can get you out of it.
Wrestler, shifting, go.
When you're adjusting, Sam will take you aside and really get you into the character, let you know what he needs out of you for this particular shot, different angles, what he needs to see. All around, he's just an awesome director.
We should change to the other music, okay? Once Tyler
He's meticulous, and he won't let things ride.
Okay, and do a little mock bow, so yeah, whatever.
We're missing something, we've got to find it. And that, ultimately, is just incredibly satisfying.
You feel very safe. You feel like you're in very good hands. I suppose it also makes you feel like you got to raise your game, which is a good feeling. You know, a little bit of fear in the belly is always quite nice.
Marker.
Sam is bringing great consequence to the nature of what essentially is gunplay in this movie. There's a lot of shots of, say, for example, this Thompson submachine gun being put together, because it's not a trivial thing. I think we're trying to do something here in which the psychological aspect of what they're doing has the grander attention on it, as opposed to how cool it looks to fire these weapons.
You can end this now. You got to take him now.
You won't make it. Not with a little boy. It's a film about the epic qualities of life, which for me are what all the great films are about.
I've always loved you like a son, and now I'm telling you, leave before it's too late.
In a way, the second half of the film is the battle for the soul of his son.
I cannot fight you and them at the same time.
I can take care of myself fine. You think it's my fault this happened?
It was not your fault.
In good storytelling, there's always great paradox. And the only time you can do that is when I think the audience recognizes themselves up on the screen somehow.
You remember your Aunt Sarah? She lives in Perdition. She'll take you in.
Perdition is the name of the town, a mythic place in their memory, in their minds, something that leads them on, a sense of hope.
What are you gonna do?
Just one last thing, and then it's done.
This is the life we chose, the life we lead. And there is only one guarantee. None of us will see heaven.
Michael could.